Get a little pre-ramble amble rolling.
Preamble.
A little preamble ramble.
I saw a study that said that adults that are at about the sixth grade level for math and science because they're all learning this after teaching their kids.
So are you saying they've actually increased? That they're
That's funny.
Well, I'm just saying because you're talking about stay at home, right?
Yeah, no, the parents that are teaching the kids are the extent of their experience is about the sixth grade level.
Well, yes, it makes sense because if you're not in it, right, you're going to be kind of like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know
Remember when we
about, I
said, "Oh,
don't know
you're never
about,
going to use this"?
I don't know about other people, but when my daughter was on the high school, I said, if you got questions, you need to talk to your teacher about it.
Don't ask me.
That's about as far as my education went with her. I'm like, sorry, kid. I love you. All right, so I'm going to have you talk about stuff today.
About what?
Exactly.
Stuff. It would be
Stuff.
cool.
It's going to be cool stuff, too.
Cool stuff. We got cool stuff to talk about.
Yeah, buddy. We still need to get music.
I know. I'll go find some. Some dance, EDM, something in the background.
Yeah, I don't think we need EDM. But yes, something.
Well, something dancey.
You know what I'm talking about.
Something dancey and not copywritten.
Correct. And Ecamm. Good old Ecamm Live.
30 seconds.
30 seconds, 30 seconds. Whoops. Pushing the wrong buttons here. Pushing the wrong buttons. Already. Makes it more exciting that way.
Oh, of course. You never know what's going to happen.
All right, the timer went down to 0. That must mean we are live. Welcome to the Zoom is for meetings. Meetings are boring. Maybe we should just call it that instead of the live show with Sue and Ryan. I don't know. Anyhow, I'm Ryan. You must be Sue.
Oh my gosh, I am. I'm Sue Bonzel. You're Ryan Perry. Wow, that's so weird.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. It's a pleasure. Pleasure's all mine. Let's talk a little bit about the Goldilocks of live streaming. And kind of when we were talking about this, it was kind of like, well, there's 3 levels, but levels are kind of boring. I forget. Did you come up with Goldilocks?
No, I think it was you. You know.
Okay, must have been.
I should have just taken credit for it, but I think it was you.
Because the idea is that there's a lot, as with anything in life, for the most part, there are multiple ways of doing it, right? And the question becomes, which is the right way for you and your specific needs?
Yes. And you're talking about going live, doing a virtual streaming event. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, going live, even if it's something as simple as hot tub happy hour, if it's something as, hey, I'm a musician and I just want to play my guitar. And then there's events, right? And typically, depending on what your needs are, such as overlays, like we've got these nice graphics and we've got side by side, and I can go in if I want to. I just got to find the right
around
button.
And do something fun.
Yeah, I can mess with things, like, oh, we don't want that live button there anymore. I can click the live button on and off. If you want to remove the logo, I can remove the logo. So it really depends on what do you need, how much flexibility do you need, and what is going to be beneficial for. Ultimately, I think it's about what is the end result that you want to achieve, and
Right.
then identifying, okay, how do I go about doing this? Because you've been live streaming for how long now with Hot Tub Happy Hour?
Oh, since the pandemic started, about a couple weeks in, so it's been almost 7 months. So it's been a while. And my skill level, this is, a lot of this is going to depend on your skill level as well, on how comfortable you are using software and pushing buttons and doing all the different things. I do my show pretty simply. I use my iPhone. I go live to Facebook. It's just me. I don't have anybody else there to help me set up or get the button pushed, unless of course my daughter shows up and helps me a little bit get that button pushed and ready to
Right.
go.
Are you saying your daughter knows how to push your buttons?
Absolutely, yes. That's it's a daughter's job. I do it to my mom too, so it's we
Right.
do it really well. But yeah, my skill level is a little bit less than what yours is. You're more of our techie guy, and of course, if I have somebody else who can be there with me to help me do it, then there are ways that I could probably incorporate the next level up, that
Right.
next bed in Goldilocks's cabin.
Right. And
basically.
so kind of like the very first bed, if you will, or porridge or whatever it might be. It's been such a long time since I've read the book that I have no idea. She probably ate the porridge first, I'm guessing, before she actually went
Probably.
up to the stairs and
Yes,
tried out the
I
bed.
think so.
But of course, the idea behind it is, so, okay, well, what is like the baby step, if you will, the little baby bear,
Yes.
how do we get our fingers wet? How do we dip our toes in the water?
Yes.
I don't know how many other
Absolutely.
examples I can give. How can you get behind the wheel and drive?
Okay, I'm going to give you tip number 1. Turn on your iPhone or your Android or your whatever and start going live, period. That's it.
Boom.
Just do it.
There you go. Yeah. And so for you mentioned, so you're just literally using your phone. It's the phone, and you're using the Facebook app that's built
Yes, I
into
am.
the phone, right? So you're not using anything
Yes.
else that's special.
I'm not using anything fancy.
And then you are plugged into a mic though, so you do have some better sound
I
than
do
just
have-
using the
Yes.
onboard. And those are devices that just plug right into your phone. We're not going to get into specifics about that because we've talked about that in different shows. It's a way of improving audio, so that is kind of you're
Yes.
leveling up a little bit. But as far as going live, it's literally go on to Facebook, go to your page, ideally, or it could be your
Yes.
personal page, but ideally your business page. Logging in, setting it up, and then hitting live. Go, do it.
Go.
Boom.
That's
Yeah.
basically it. And it goes, and you're able to interact and engage with people.
Right, because you
my
see the
setup,
comments.
unfortunately,
The comments
you
show
can
up and all of that.
Yes, you can see the comments. Unfortunately, my setup is a little too far away on a little tiny screen, and I'm not wearing my glasses when I'm doing my show. So I'm like, I can't see the comments. So if I need another person is what I need. Ryan, can I hire you?
You can, yes, definitely. I'm like, what are we, 1,000 an hour nowadays?
Oh, something like that. Yeah.
And speaking of hiring, somebody's calling me now. Go
Oh
away.
my gosh, you didn't turn off your phone. Faux
I did
pas
not turn
number
off my
1.
phone.
Is that on the checklist?
That's on the checklist, but who looks at checklists? Come on now. Rules are meant to be broken. So I would say, out of the gate, number 1 is going to be the iPhone. It's built in, or excuse me, the app. If you're on a computer, same thing. You just log into Facebook, go ahead, click live. You can get it all set up. And then just use your built-in microphone, use the built-in webcam that comes with your laptop as an example. If you don't have that, then you probably need some other accessories, but how do you get online is going to be that. I think the next easiest way is also going to be Zoom. Now
Yes.
the one thing we should say about Facebook is it's free. Right?
Yes.
Facebook, you download the app, you use the app, there's no charge or billing. With Zoom, there's actually the option right in the bottom where you have to pay for an advanced plan, I do believe.
Yes,
But you
do.
can actually connect to both Facebook and YouTube at the same time and do a Zoom meeting. So if you're doing something very simple like the side by side, and you don't need the graphics and you're not worried about all the accoutrements, if you will, then Zoom would be another option that is, I would say, inexpensive. However,
Yes.
I would also say that the video quality is crap at
Yeah.
best.
Unfortunately, it is. I mean, even if you've got a great camera, as you know, we've found out Zoom does compress everything so that it can send out that feed. That's the most important thing. So your quality, you're gonna sacrifice your quality on that. But if you're just doing something, you know, down and dirty, as it were, it works. It's functional, and like you said, it's low cost. So.
Right. Yeah. Super simple. And you don't, and that's the one thing I love about the Goldilocks analogy is that if you know how to use Facebook on your phone, this is so simple. The only caveat I ask is that people put this on a tripod if you're going to be not moving around,
Yeah.
or maybe a gimbal if you're going to be moving around, just to reduce the brrr type of stuff that happens.
Yes, I agree.
The next simplest way, I think, is Zoom. Everybody's been immersed, if you will, into the Zoom culture at this point. So we should know how, most people know how to use it from a technical point of view. And I think the other nice thing about Zoom is that because the display quality is so compressed, that if you don't have a good internet signal, that Zoom is a viable option for that because it works well in low bandwidth situations. It just comes with a lot of limitations.
Right, exactly.
And then I think the other thing with Zoom is that you're not going to get the feedback, though. So if you're actually on Facebook and you get the little people like it, they send you hearts, the little, you know, magic things float up on your screen, and if people leave,
you want lots of those.
You want lots of those, and if people leave comments, all of that shows up. So you get the engagement on Zoom. It's you and however many other people, and it's just pushing a signal out. And the way to do it, like I am right now, is for engagement is going to be having a second monitor, maybe a laptop, a second computer, a tablet, and that you're actually watching the live stream, so that if you are engaging, want to engage with your audience, that you're able to do so.
Yep, exactly. It's a great option. It's that your kind of your lower middle type spot.
Correct. And then the next option I want to bump into, and I got to make sure our cameras don't get turned off when I switch the screen. So give me a quick second here. Feel free to talk about anything you would like, though, Sue.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. What am I going to make for dinner tonight? Oh, that's a different show.
That's a different show. All right, I found it.
Oh, wait. What bottle of wine am I opening? Now that's a different show.
So let's go ahead. Oh, we were doing a little picture-in-picture action last time. So let's. So here's an example. I'm going to go ahead. I see we've got Sue in the upper right-hand corner, but let's go ahead and add myself also, just because we can. And here, hey everybody, here I am.
There you are.
I just need to squeeze myself down. Let's do a little croppy crop. See, this is the fun thing about live shows, is you get to kind of see some of the behind the scenes stuff that goes on, that normally in a woo, that was quick.
Woo,
that
hey.
in a final production you wouldn't necessarily see. And I'm going to go ahead and hide their logo here. So this is BLive here. And BLive, I don't even know how many years ago it was that when Facebook first started live streaming, I don't know if that was 5 years ago, 6, it seems like forever. But it was, I actually got on BLive. I was doing weekly shows. It was really cool. And everything, like the whole live thing was like super cool, cutting edge. And BLive was one of the first make it simple with graphics and overlays. And so they've added a lot of extra features. And just so people know, this is not a review of any of the softwares that we're talking about. We just want to let you know that there are options out there, and ultimately it's best to understand what is it that you want to achieve. Go out and try some of these software that's out there. As an example, BLive is actually free. It has some limitations. You can do 3 shows a month. You can only have 2 people on the screen, and there's probably a time limit as far as how long your shows can be. And then their standard rate is going to be $25 a month, unlimited shows, custom branding. And they kind of showed that here on their little intro video that they have on their website. And back when I first started using BLive, this was wonderful. I could connect with somebody else. I don't even think Zoom was on the radar at the time. And it was nice. Since then, they've evolved. Back in the day, you could only have one other person on screen. Now they have, I think, up to 6 people or 5 people that you can do. The branding options, you can put your own colors in there. You can add your logo. You can do a lot, and it integrates the chat on the right-hand side of the screen here. You can see it showing up in their little demo right now. So it kind of gives you a single portal of one place to go live that's super simple, and it's really designed to give you all the key features that I think a majority of, say, podcasters, if you wanted to do a video podcast or something like that, is going to give you all of those tools. And it does
now for that.
Go ahead.
You've used that before. I haven't used it. I mean, how simple is it for like a beginner user? How user friendly is it?
Yeah, I would say it's a little more complicated than it used to be, simply because they've added, now you can add media content, you can do share screen, but these are all things that have evolved since, say, 5 years ago when all this started out. So in order to be competitive, they've needed to do that. As with anything, we always recommend, whenever you're live streaming, the very first thing you need to do is test. And so always. One of the ways that you can do that through Facebook or even YouTube is, when you do a test live stream, is number one, if it makes sense, let your audience know and say, hey, I'm just testing, leave a comment, let me know, dun, dun, dun. Or a lot of times what we'll do is we'll make it a private or unlisted video so that it's live streaming, but nobody is going to see it. And that way we can actually see the recorded version afterwards, because what's nice about both Facebook and YouTube is that they actually record everything even though it's live.
Yes.
And so we'll review it afterwards. So I think BLive, and there are other competitors out there. And again, because this isn't a review or a comparison video, this is kind of the Goldilocks live show. This would be the medium. It gives you a lot of options. It gives you branding capabilities. It gives you a lot of flexibility if you want to do like PowerPoint presentations or share a screen. All of this can be done, and they've made it simple. Now, the downside is, if I don't like where a certain layout is and I don't have an option to change that, then I can't change it. So we're kind of, BLive and other platforms that are similar are kind of balancing out between, okay, how can we make this user experience as simple and as easy to navigate for the non-techie, while giving all the branded and, all the different things, functionality that people would like to have. So,
now, I did download that.
Yep.
I use a Mac and I have an iPhone, and so I'm kind of an Apple gal. And so I did download it. I tried to play around with it. I couldn't easily get it to be super compatible with my Apple products. So I'm not sure if it is or it isn't. I ended up having trouble, so I was looking for another solution.
Yeah, and I think, one, thank you for bringing that up, because that's good to know. Two, the other thing that triggered is the fact that this is actually a web-based platform, so you don't have to download anything. All you need is a good internet to actually connect and upload, or your video and those type of things. So there could be other things going on, but it is both PC and Mac compatible, because it is a web platform. And one of the things that I don't think a lot of people know is that a lot of times the browser that you use, because every browser is its own software, and each one of these streaming platforms is actually, they typically cater to a browser. simply because the coding, they have to make the coding different for all of them. And
Right.
Chrome has been kind of like the go-to browser. So a lot of times I would say when people do have issues and it is a browser-based product, is to try a different web browser.
Yeah.
And if you
That's a
have
good,
like
good tip.
50 tabs open, some people, it's just like little tap, little tap, little tap, little tap, little tap, and it just goes.
You know what? Why are
That
you
pulls
talking about me like
resources.
that?
I'm
Why are you
not.
talking about me like that?
I'm talking about those people, whoever
I
they
am
are.
one of those people.
So also realize that when you have multiple tabs open, you're putting undue strain on your computer. So,
Right.
but that's a whole nother topic. So, um, again, that's going to be kind of mid-level for $25 a month. You get all the special branding. You can do a lot of different things. You can have multiple hosts come on. You don't have to download any software, but you are reliant on the platform itself for what you can do.
Right.
And so there's a lot of limitations that come with that. So I think that the next step up then for me is going to be getting into something like Ecamm or vMix. And this is going to be really high end. And I'm just looking at vMix right now. Let's do that because that's what we use here. And at BLivecast, we've invested over $1,000 just in software. So that's not hardware, and that's just strictly software. But what's really nice about it is that each one of I can blow it up. Whoops, I clicked the button too quickly. Each one of these little boxes here is an actual feed coming in. And with that, you can do whatever you want to that feed. So we can do the overlays, kind of like I was pulling off the live logo and our branded logo earlier. I can go in here and I can change all that. So it's very, very powerful. You do need a serious computer. It takes a lot of hardware solutions. They do have the option for connecting up to 8 call-in guests. So there is that remote being able to, in fact, that's how we're doing this, Sue and I. I'm actually at the studio on the computer with my camera plugged in through HDMI. And then Sue, are you using your iPhone today?
I am using my iPhone today.
Okay. I was going to say, it looks, you must have moved the tripod or something.
I tried to.
Okay.
I tried to. Yeah, I'm still working on it. It's
Yeah,
a work in
positioning
progress.
wise, it looks good.
We're getting there. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
And it looks sharp. So Sue's actually calling in. I'm down in Roner Park, and then Sue's up in Santa Rosa. And so she's just calling in as a remote caller. But again, I can do whatever I want. So we'll just show you some of the flexibility as an example. If I want to go into position, let me find Sue. We can actually do all kinds of stuff. Well, actually, I could just remove you if I wanted to.
Don't remove me.
Simple click of the button. I could put something else in there. The other thing we could do, let's find actually Sue herself. And if I go into yours, I can even do some color correction. So we have a lot of flexibility on what is capable. Yeah, so this is the psychedelic show right now. But we can actually go through, and I say we, on my end, I got to find 0. Sorry.
Go back to 0.
Reset everything. Restretch. Reset.
Reset.
There we go. Actually, I kind of like the little, got to add a little, that looks better, actually. I'm glad we went into that because you're a little wash. There we go.
Thanks.
I like that. So tons of options. Now, the big thing with this type, when you get to this level, this is broadcast software. So a lot of broadcast, not your ABC or NBC. They have, this is next level. They're going to use next level up. But for local users, this is going to be very powerful, and you can stream to anywhere, anytime. I've had shows where I've actually had people from Europe on, and I've had a couple of times, oh gosh, can't think of it.
Australia?
Anyhow, Australia was on there, and then there's
yeah.
the island. That's a part of the United States, but is not,
Puerto
they're
Rico?
not a state. Puerto Rico, thank you.
Puerto Rico?
And as long as you have a good internet connection, you can do all of this, which is really cool. Now, key thing with vMix, one, it's expensive compared to say $25 a month. The other thing is that it is PC only. And so there are limitations there if you are on a Macintosh. Now, on the other side, for Mac users, there is Ecamm Live, and this is typically in the industry, this is considered kind of the Mac equivalent, if you will, for going live. Now, this software, Ecamm, uses kind of an OBS overlay, which we haven't fully delved into it, and I'm sure we will at some point. But you have a lot of flexibility that you will in vMix. Same thing, it's just a completely different platform. I'm not sure what the product cost is. Do we ever look into that?
There's a free version. I have the free version at the
There's a
moment,
free version, and
or at least a free trial.
yeah, and I'm not sure what the actual pricing is for Ecamm, but those in the industry that are on Macs, I know that typically they go to Ecamm, and then of course OBS. For people that aren't familiar with OBS, OBS is open broadcast software, and this is actually free. It's available on Windows, Mac, and Linux if you're on that. The one reason why I didn't go into OBS is I just find the interface, this is the actual interface down here, to be clunky for me simply because I'm a visual person. And to me, this is more if you were a really technical guy, computer programmer, this probably makes a lot of sense to people. For me, I'm more visual, and that's why let's actually go back to VLivecast. Let me find that picture. One of the things that I like about VLivecast is the fact that everything has a visual representation. So here's the live window that's going out to the audience, to the live feed. Here's a preview window. So if I want to switch, this is what I'm seeing right now is a picture of Sue and I on my actual software. And if I click fade, then I'm just fading between these two windows. So I can bounce back and forth, but I have a visual representation of that. In OBS, all these scenes are your different, whatever you want to call scene one could be just Sue, scene two could be just Ryan, scene three could be the split version of the two of us, and you kind of have to know that as you're going through it. Great thing about OBS, it's been around for years. There's a great community. There is tons of support. They have plugins. It works on a regular basis. It's open source, so people are constantly adding and improving to it. However, I will say that you definitely need to be techie in order to use it. But again, it's free. So, there's a lot to be said for that, especially on the internet. And even though OBS is free, I still add it. I would add this to this is the Papa chair, this is the big bed in the Goldilocks scenario, because you have full control over what you want to do. It's just not going to be super simple.
Well, like you said, I like that you referenced that there's a community. I know that you're part of a group for the vMix community, and you've many times reached out to them and said, hey, I need help with this, or how are you handling this, or can this be done? And there are so many people there with the expertise who are able to help you out, which I think that's a great resource for anybody using any of these tools. Go find those communities on Facebook and those groups and go ask questions.
Yeah, definitely. And because even with the simple stuff, say with like a BLive as an example, even though it's going to be pretty simple to use to interface, if you compare what were we looking at here? Let me pull up OBS again and just kind of take a look at that blue screen here as far as an interface. And then let's take a look at BLive, and you can see the interface is completely different. You're probably still gonna have technical issues, and I know BLive, because they've been around for years and years and years, and it's really nice noticing, Sue, is that there's a lot of support available online, and so Facebook has a number of groups for all of the softwares that we've mentioned today.
Right. Yes. Definitely reach out. That's the way to do it.
Yeah. And again, just test. Find something that works for you. If the other thing I would say that what I've learned from downloading trial software is that typically they're going to give you maybe 2 weeks. Sometimes it's only 7 days, but typically 2 weeks seems to be the sweet spot where you can try it. Is make sure that you have bandwidth in that free trial to actually test it multiple ways. So if you
and when you say bandwidth, you mean time on your hands to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Make sure you physically are able to do the different things. And I would even go as far as saying, okay, again, based on what is it that you want to do for your event? What is it that you want to accomplish with live streaming? Kind of figure out what those are in some sort of format. I love bullet points personally, and then prioritize those. And then make sure when you test it, if you want to do like a call-in, like I've got Sue called in here, make sure you have somebody available, or you have a second computer, you have a way of testing it and putting it in a real life situation where maybe you're streaming to an unpublished or non-public Facebook page or YouTube, and really try it out in the ways that you want to use it in the real world. Because a lot of times there's a lot of things conceptually I know we can do with vMix as an example, but how do you actually do it and then make it seamless and make it look smooth on the day of the event is a whole nother thing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you're really good at getting on and doing all the testing and saying, okay, wait, we got to try this. Okay, let me try this. Is this working? Is this not working? And really finding those solutions. So that's always key. We'll always say that test for sure.
Yeah, and it's really important for me personally, because if I'm the producer, I'm the one that's got to deal with it, right? If things don't work, okay, it's like all eyes are on you. It's like, oh, it's here you are, top of the ninth, 2 strikes and there's 2 outs and there's the winning run on third. All you got to do is hit a base hit and you'll be good. Don't strike out. So
it's okay. The pros do it all the time. So every once in a while, you're gonna have something happen. So
it always does. I mean, today I was doing a show for a client, and the guest cut out 2 times. They just dropped connection, even though they had really solid internet. So I got to do some additional research and go, this isn't something that I've experienced before. And since they had really strong internet, they were hardwired. They did all the things that typically would give you the best quality solution. We still had technical issues. Have no idea why, but end up checking it out. And even like me, we were talking about it. Like, I'm chunky here. Like, the video is chunky. It's not. I should be smooth right now.
I don't know what's going on with that.
I don't know. And I've had it. I don't know if it's just this show that I've noticed it or it's other ones, but then there's other shows that I'm on and it's fine. There's no issue. So as long as
that's technology for you.
You gotta love it. Gotta love it. As long as I don't move, I'm fine. So
don't move.
Yeah, don't move. So with that, I think, that's the Goldilocks, right? Just start out on your phone. That's the easiest way, the baby steps, really simple. Even if it seems overwhelming, just hit go live, try it, see what happens. One of the nice things about live is that just because it does record doesn't mean you can't go back and delete. There's plenty of content that I've deleted afterwards that I'm like, nope, this just didn't go very well.
That's not good.
I'm going to delete it.
And we also want people to try, you guys try it out and then let us know, comment and let us know how you did. Like, what did you like? What did you not like? What did you find easy, hard, whatever? We would love to have your feedback as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and also kind of if you're using a platform now, what is that platform? And especially like you were saying, Sue, what have you used and where are you now and why did you make those changes? Because it's definitely been an evolution for the both of us too.
For sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Always learning.
Always learning. So just remember Facebook, that's the easiest place to start. If you just want to do something simple, get out there, do Facebook. If you're looking for something that's a little bit more advanced, You can go in the OBS, which is free. If you're willing to pay a couple of dollars, then try and using like a BLive, and there's plenty of other platforms out there. I'm not promoting BLive. It's just simply that's where I started, and that's the one that I'm most familiar with from experiencing it years ago. And then if that doesn't provide you enough flexibility, again, OBS, going to be more technical, but it's going to give you that flexibility. Or I recommend jumping into a vMix or Ecamm on the Macintosh side of things. Yep. And that's your Papa Bear. That's the
awesome.
Big boys.
I love it.
Yeah.
The big boys.
That's the big boys. So that's it today, Sue, unless you got something you'd like to add.
Okay. Nothing. I do want to see our promo video, though. I think we missed it at the beginning.
Oh, I totally spaced on that. Here, let me play it for you. All right. I gotta get that. I totally spaced over that. Thank you.
You're welcome. It happens.
Yeah, it happens. Joys of being live. You just kind of roll with it.
That's right. That's right. Roll away.
All right. With that being said, we are here every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific time. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to leave them below. We're more than happy to help you out with your live streaming questions. May they be event related, software related, or even like we've talked about in the past, the run of the show. What goes into creating a good live stream?
There you go.
There you go. All right, Sue, with that.
There you have it.
Let's wave goodbye.
Okay, we'll see you next week.
All right, everybody. Take care.